How's it going, everyone, and welcome to the Thinking Blue podcast. I'm your host, Blake Harris, and we're just going to dive right into this because we had the breaking news trade of the offseason go down late Tuesday night, right as I was getting into The Bachelor with my roommate as well, so they wasted no time. The Dodgers, they did it. Andrew Friedman, he pulled it off. The Dodgers acquire Mookie Betts and David Price in a three-team trade. So they traded with the Red Sox. The Minnesota Twins got involved as well. So a lot to go over right now, but Mookie Betts is a Los Angeles Dodger. Words that I can't believe I'm saying, words that Dodger fans didn't think they'd hear this offseason. So let's just get to it right away, and let's start with Mookie Betts. I mean, rumors were circulating all offseason that the Red Sox were planning on trading Mookie Betts, mainly because he had 1 year left on his contract, and it seemed like the Red Sox had no, real plans to sign him to a long-term deal moving forward. And with the Red Sox likely not competing next year for the division or World Series title, it was expected they'd probably trade him and then maybe trade David Price as well to kind of dump salary, help the team get under the luxury tax. And it seemed like all offseason the Dodgers were constantly in the swing of things. The Padres, their name was attached all offseason as well, especially in the last few days, the last few weeks. And essentially it seemed like the Dodgers or Padres would make a trade to acquire Mookie Betts. Now, there was a bunch of rumors going on as to what players would be going back, what would be coming back from the Red Sox side of things, and it was kind of just all over the place over the last few days. Like I said, a bunch of rumors going on, and Ken Rosenthal reported yesterday that it seemed like a deal was going to be close. He said in a day or two. He was unsure about who was going to make the trade, but he said the Dodgers had the upper hand in the move. Now, today it seemed like a deal wasn't going to take place today. It seemed like a deal was going to eventually happen, but it seemed like the sides just weren't agreeing on the prospects, the players, the money going back. So it seemed like a deal wasn't going to happen for, the foreseeable future. And then all of a sudden, around, 9 p.m. Eastern or so, Ken Rosenthal was tweeting, Jeff Passan was tweeting, John Heyman was tweeting, everyone was tweeting saying, the trade's gaining momentum. The Dodgers looks like they're going to pull it off. And all of a sudden, Twitter was going crazy. And then just like that, all the reporters tweeted out saying Mookie Betts is going to the Los Angeles Dodgers. There was some concern, not concern, but there was some questions going on about what was going on with David Price, because in the original Jeff Passan tweet, he said that David Price is a part of the deal, but there's a third team involved, so we're going to have to wait and see where he goes to. So right away, everyone knew that Mookie Betts was heading to the Dodgers, but eventually it came out that the Dodgers were getting both Mookie Betts and David Price, and most importantly, cash from the Boston Red Sox to pay David Price's salary. Now, I saw a John Heyman tweet that came out saying the Red Sox are going to pay half of David Price's remaining contract. He's owed, I believe, $96 million over the course of the next 3 seasons. So if that's true, the Dodgers only have to pay $50 million towards David Price. It's essentially $16 million a year, which is an absolute steal. Now, David Price isn't the David Price of old. He's not the Cy Young Award winner he was back, earlier in the decade. He's not, the all-star type pitcher that he was, but he's still a very good number 3, number 4 option. He's likely going to be the number 3 starter for the Dodgers in 2020. I'm not saying he's going to be Hyun-Jin Ryu, but after the Dodgers lost Hyun-Jin Ryu, one of the best left-handed starters in baseball, they had a hole, for another left-handed starter. David Price fills that void. So the Dodgers, again, they get Mookie Betts, David Price, and as of right now, according to John Heyman's tweet, half of the contract will be paid by the Red Sox. Now, in regards to the other players that are on the move, Kenta Maeda, good old Kenta, he goes to the Twins in the deal. He's the only player going to the Twins, at least as of right now. Boston, what they get back Alex Verdugo, and forgive me if I'm saying this wrong, this is the first time I've ever seen his name, Brusdar Greatroll. Again, I'm pretty sure I'm butchering that name. He's a prospect from the Minnesota Twins. So just again, to quickly go over the 3-team trade, Dodgers get Mookie Betts, David Price, the Twins get Kenta Maeda, and the Red Sox get Alex Verdugo and Brusdar Greatroll. Now, in a separate trade the Dodgers made tonight, they also are sending Jock Peterson to the Angels for Luis Rengifo, who's, I guess, technically a prospect still, but he played about 100 games last year with the Angels. So the Dodgers, they clear some salary there. They open up an outfield spot for Mookie Betts, and I believe as of right now, the Dodgers are going to be able to remain under the luxury tax. So overall, what a night, what a plethora of moves. So let's kind of go into this more in depth. Again, the Dodgers, you're getting who, in my opinion, is the second best player in baseball with Mookie Betts. He won the AL MVP in 2018, hit 29 home runs last year, hit 295, had an OPS of 915, OPS plus of 135. He has been one of the best players in baseball over the last 4 seasons. He's finished top 8 in MVP voting the last 4 seasons. As I mentioned, won MVP back in 2018. He's won a Gold Glove the last 4 years, won a Silver Slugger 3 of the last 4 years, made the All-Star team the last 4 years. Not only are you getting one of the best hitting right fielders in the game of baseball, you're getting one of the best fielding right fielders in the game of baseball as well. As I mentioned, the 4 Gold Gloves. He also is the recipient of the Wilson Overall Defensive Player of the Year, so quite the defender Mookie Betts is. He's great with the glove, even better with the bat. Now, Mookie Betts, he has 1 year left on his contract, $27 million, but the reports that have come out recently over the last, 20 or 30 minutes or so say the Dodgers have every intent of trying to work out a long-term contract with him. Now, I know a lot of people were hesitant to make the deal because they were saying that's way too much to give up for a rental. Well, if the Dodgers sign Mookie Betts to a long-term contract, then it is by far worth it, and he has a chance to become a Dodger for essentially the rest of his career. Now, as I mentioned, these are only some reports that have come out over the last 20 minutes or so, so who knows how much truth there is to it, how much the Dodgers have, plans on signing Mookie Betts to a long-term deal, but as of right now, it doesn't matter whether or not they plan to keep him for the future because you have him for the next season. You're putting Mookie Betts and Cody Bellinger, arguably 2 of the top 5 players in the game of baseball, in the same outfield. What a lineup that's going to be. And again, what a move by the Dodgers. You have a team that won 106 games last year, had one of the best offenses in all of baseball. I think they were like 3rd in home runs. I think they led the National League in home runs, scored the most runs. You're taking essentially the exact same team. You're going to minus Verdugo, you're going to minus Jock Peterson, and you're adding Mookie Betts to it. What a lineup. And the fact that they upgrade defensively as well, remarkable. David Price, now I did talk about him briefly, saying he's not the David Price of old. He's not going to be competing for a Cy Young. He's not going to be making an All-Star team. He went 7-5 last year, ERA of 4.28. Not great numbers. He did have 128 strikeouts in 107 innings. He had a strikeout per 9 of 10.7. That's actually the best of his career. He's coming off a year in 2018 where he went 16-7, ERA of 3.58. In 2017, had an ERA of 3.38. So he had a down year last year. Hopefully he can rebound, get an ERA of under 4, and all of a sudden now, if you're David Price and you're the number 3, number 4 starter for the Dodgers, that's all they need out of you. They don't need you to be that number 1, that number 2 guy. They need you to eat innings. They need you to stay healthy because that's been the problem with David Price over the last few seasons. He hasn't really been able to stay healthy. Only 22 games last year, 16 games in 2017. So if David Price can stay healthy, if he can eat innings, he can be a good, valuable piece in that Dodgers starting rotation, especially for a starting rotation that lost Hyun-Jin Ryu, lost Rich Hill, now loses Kenta Maeda. You're relying on a bunch of these young guys like Tony Gonsolin, Dustin May, Julio Urias, and I'm not really, too ecstatic about having to rely on those young arms quite yet. So getting a veteran like David Price to fill out that starting rotation definitely helps in the long run. Moving on now to the other parts of the deal, let's go to the Twins. So the Dodgers part with Kenta Maeda, which you hate to see it because he's been such a consistent starter for the Dodgers over the last 4 seasons. I think since Kenta Maeda made his debut in 2016, he's actually made the most starts for the Dodgers. He has 103 starts during that span. He's appeared in 137 games. He's always been very consistent for the Dodgers, always 8 innings, pitched a lot of games. I mean, looking at his career, 32 starts, 25 starts, 20 starts, 26 starts, on top of, 10 to 15 bullpen appearances. Overall, he's had a very solid career with the Dodgers, 47-35, ERA of 3.87, a whip of 1.15, 641 strikeouts in 589 innings. This is a really good move for the Twins because, as we've seen, they were a good team last year. They made a few upgrades this past offseason, getting, Homer Bailey, Rich Hill in their starting rotation. They needed another piece in that starting rotation, and Kenta Maeda, he's not an ace-type guy, but he gives them more depth. I think this is a very good move for the Twins and the starting pitching staff. So I think that's where the Twins wanted to get involved with this deal. However, they did pay a steep price. Now, again, I'm totally going to mess up his name. Brewstar, great role. I apologize for completely butchering his name, but he's a very highly regarded prospect. I believe last year he was ranked number 55 according to Baseball America in regards to best prospects in all of baseball, number 68 according to MLB. He was the Twins' number 3 prospect last year. Not exactly sure where he's ranked this year, but he's definitely one of the top prospects in the Twins organization. He's still very young, only going to be 21 this upcoming season. He goes to the Red Sox, so the Red Sox get a key young pitching prospect that has a lot of potential, a lot of upside. So, the Twins, they part with one of their best pitching prospects, but they get a proven guy in Kenta Maeda that can help them win in 2020. So I just talked about the Red Sox getting him in that trade. Another piece they get, and I guess which is the centerpiece, is Alex Verdugo. So Alex Verdugo heads to Boston. Now he's going to replace Mookie Betts. He's under contract, I believe, for the next few seasons. A very affordable contract. Still very young, only going to be 24 this upcoming season. He's been fairly decent with the Dodgers whenever he's gotten the chance to play. It just hasn't been that often. Last year, hit 294, OPS of 817, OPS plus of 114, had 12 home runs, drove in 44 runs at the plate, but he did miss about 60 games, especially coming in the back half of the season when he had back problems that sidelined him in August and pretty much kept him out the rest of the season. It was kind of a weird injury that a lot of people didn't really know too much about. It kind of just seemed like things were getting progressively worse. So I'd assume if he's going to Boston in this trade, his back must be fine. He's fully healthy, or else I don't think the Red Sox would want to risk having him be the centerpiece. Listen, Verdugo, he's always been a highly touted prospect with the Dodgers. Whenever he got his chance to play, he did a fantastic job. Great with the bat, great defensively. He was a fan favorite. It seemed like everyone in the clubhouse loved him. So this one definitely hurts for the Dodgers moving forward, but to get a guy like Mookie Betts, this is a deal that had to be done. So yeah, the Red Sox, he's not the player that Mookie Betts is, but as I mentioned, he's going to be 24 years old this upcoming season, very young, a very affordable contract moving forward. And I think if he's healthy, if you can get 140, 150 games out of him, he's going to be a great piece for the Red Sox as they try to build for the future. Now, in a separate trade that was kind of, out of nowhere, Joc Pederson heads to the Angels. In return, the Dodgers get Luis Rengifo from the Angels, who I think is still technically a prospect, or I know he played with the Angels last season, played 108 games with them, but I think he's still technically a prospect. He's very young. He's only 22 years old. Had a WAR of 1.6 last year, hit 238, OPS of 685, OPS plus of 84. Not too good, but again, he's a young prospect, only 22 years old. This was essentially just a salary dump for the Dodgers to help them get under the luxury tax and also open up an outfield spot that you can split between Pollock, Kike Hernandez, and Chris Taylor. So Joc Pederson, he's had an up and down tenure with the Dodgers, had a great season last year, hit 36 home runs, OPS of 876, OPS plus of 127. He hit 249, which is the best of his career. He has 1 year left on his contract, so a very affordable deal. The Angels, they get a great... The Angels make out great in this. They get a great bat to go to their already deep lineup. And, you hate to see Joc go for the Dodgers because he's been so good. He's been, again, up and down, but when he's going, he's going. I mean, he finishes with 123 home runs over the last 5 seasons. OPS of 813 for his career. A very good outfielder that, the Dodgers, I think, had higher expectations and higher hopes for Joc Pederson. He never was, the power was always there. Everyone knew he'd be able to hit the home runs. The average never got to where they wanted it to be. The on-base percentage never got to where they wanted it to be, but Joc Pederson had 5 great years with the Dodgers. You hate to see him go, but again, in order to acquire a guy like Mookie Betts, this is just a deal that had to be done. All right, so yeah, that pretty much wraps up all the names that are going in this trade. I mean, nothing's come out as of yet. I mean, this all kind of happened about an hour ago, so I don't think there's any more moves that are on the way, but what a job by Andrew Friedman. Now, he's been getting a bunch of backlash all offseason for striking out on Anthony Rendon, striking out on Garrett Cole, and a lot of people were giving him grief for potentially not going to be able to complete this Mookie Betts deal. What a job he did. So essentially, he gets the second best player in all of baseball. He picks up another starting pitcher that he's only going to have to pay half the salary to, and essentially all it cost was Alex Verdugo, Joc Pederson, and Kenta Maeda. What a job by Andrew Friedman. I mean, there were a bunch of different rumors as to who would be going back to the Red Sox in a potential deal. There was Josiah Gray's name was mentioned, Jeter Downs, his name was mentioned, Tony Gonsolin's name was mentioned. Now, although the Dodgers likely weren't going to part ways with Gavin Lux or Dustin May, there were a lot of rumors that one of those names might be attached as well. The Dodgers improve their team in 2020. They get significantly better. I mean, it didn't seem like it was possible to take a 106-win team and have them get significantly better. They do. And the fact that their farm system isn't even touched. They didn't part with any of their prospects. So the Dodgers are still going to have a top 3 farm system in all of baseball, one of the best. They're adding Mookie Betts. They're adding David Price. And all it cost was Alex Verdugo, Joc Pederson, and Kenta Maeda. what a job by Andrew Friedman. I jokingly tweeted out on my Twitter saying that the LAPD is in search of a man for highway robbery because of the deal he pulled off. What a move. I personally thought the Red Sox could have gotten more. I mean, again, they get a good piece in Verdugo. They get a really good prospect, but I just feel like for a guy like Mookie Betts, now I know that it's not a favorable contract. Obviously, you're not going to be getting a lot for him, but for him and David Price, that's all you get back. I mean, maybe what the Padres were offering was absolutely nothing, and they were thinking, this is the best we can get. We don't want to take a chance of losing out. Then that makes some sense, but it just seems like the Red Sox could have gotten a bit more. But again, I'm not complaining. What a deal for the Dodgers. What a night for the Dodgers. What a night for the MLB. This is just an insane move, and just major props to Andrew Friedman for getting this job done because, again, he's been getting a lot of backlash. I've personally given him some backlash over the months and over the years, but he went for it tonight, and he made the move of the offseason, the move, I guess, of his career so far. And it's going to be exciting to see what happens because, as I mentioned, you're putting Mookie Betts in the same outfield as Cody Bellinger, 2 MVPs that have won the last 2 seasons. You keep your farm system intact, and this is going to be a Dodgers team. They're now, I think, World Series favorites. They have arguably the best lineup 1 through 8 in all of baseball. They're starting a rotation. Again, it's not as good as it was last year, just a tad worse, but the fact that he was able to pick up a guy like David Price to help out that rotation, huge. And I'm just so excited to see opening day what this team looks like because as of right now, the starting lineup, Mookie Betts, Cody Bellinger, Corey Seager, Max Muncy, Justin Turner, Gavin Lux, Will Smith, A.J. Pollock. I mean, if A.J. Pollock can just do what he did in Arizona and he's your number 7, number 8 hitter, your third best outfielder, oh, wow, that's incredible. And now your starting rotation is going to look like Walker Buehler, Clayton Kershaw, David Price, Dustin May, Tony Gonsolin, Alex Wood. We're going to have to wait and see, but what a night for the Dodgers. I still can't believe they got the job done. Mookie Betts is a Dodger. David Price is a Dodger. What are your guys' thoughts on the deal? I would love to hear them in the comments below. Make sure to follow me on Twitter at Blake Harris TBLA, where I post a lot of great Dodgers content. So if you're a Dodgers fan, definitely a must follow over there. Also, if you're brand new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I post all my Dodgers podcasts here. A lot of fun Dodger videos coming in the future. So if you're a Dodgers fan, you definitely want to subscribe and stay here for the future. But that wraps it up for me, guys. I might do another podcast in a few days to kind of just go over everything more in depth and kind of just talk about what this means for who moving forward and what this means for the MLB moving forward. But I just wanted to get out a quick, podcast giving my thoughts on the trade because I'm too excited where I had to get my mic out and pretty much talk about the deal. So again, thank you guys so much for listening. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Make sure to follow me on Twitter. Make sure to subscribe. And yeah, just have yourself a great night, and I will see you guys very soon.